my name is Haley. I'm here with Wild Hand, and today I'm going to show you how to graft panels together with Kitchener stitch. I'll be using these Leica straight needles, and for my yarn today, I'll be using this Monostel Uruguay Cardo. Both the needles and the yarn will be linked in the description box below. Let's get started. So to begin, we want to make sure our panels are set up right. So for this swatch, I have my knit side facing up, which means my purl sides are touching each other. You want your knits on the outside. Then I've left my tail really long and it's on the back panel. So once you have all of these things in the right places, we are ready to start. I'm going to push my stitches a little closer to the end of my needle. And then I'm going to thread my tail through. So for your tail, I would say about 4 times the length of whatever it is you're trying to sew together. That should be good. It might be too much, but better safe than sorry. So to start, we're going to insert knitwise, slip the stitch off. So knit off, insert purlwise, leave that stitch on, purl on. So when we are working on this front needle, we start with knit. On the back needle, we start with purl. So purl off, knit on. So leave it on there and pull the yarn through. Just like that. You want it tight, but not too tight because we are essentially making another row of knitting. We're not really like seaming. So knit off, purl on, and then on the back needle, purl off, knit on. It's very similar to Italian bind off, but you're working it over 2 needles instead of 1, but all the steps are the same. And you're just going to do that over and over. You can kind of see our new row beginning. And you'll do that all the way across. So knit off, purl on, and just do your best on the tension. Don't worry about it too much because you can fix it all at the end, so no worries. Purl off, knit on, knit off, purl on, purl off, knit on. And you will do this all the way down to the last 2 stitches. So pause here and meet me when you're down to 1 stitch on each needle. All right, so we have our last 2 stitches and we are going to take our needle and we're simply going to knit through the first one and purl through the last one. And that's all. Then you just pull your tail on through. And you can see that our stitches are now grafted together. This is the last row of my knitting, but that tension was a little bit different. But I can use it as an example to show how to fix your tension on your graft row. So you're going to take your needle, your knitting needle, anything really, and just tug the row in the direction that you want it to go. So I want to take this tension out and I'm essentially just passing the extra tension along the row. And you would do this down to the tail of yarn. But since this is not actually my graft row, I'm just going to kind of end up with a giant stitch on the end of the row, which I don't recommend, but this is just for tutorial purposes. So as you can see, I'm just tugging all that extra tension out. And then if this was the row that I had grafted together, it would all accumulate on the side and I would be able to just tug the rest of it out. but this isn't that row, so I'm just going to kind of pull it back and have this big loop. But nonetheless, you can see how it evened out all that extra tension. And that's the Kitchener stitch. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you can catch all of our future tutorials.